Bernie Sanders has officially dropped out of the Democratic primary race. He is still going to keep his name on the ballots in order to collect delegates. This is a way of him applying political pressure on Joe Biden so Biden can actually work with progressive voters towards some of the progressive policy proposals that they're demanding. So it's a strategy that I think is actually pretty smart. But of course, Bernie's announcement has led to some bad actors mocking his supporters, saying terrible things about Bernie, even though he's doing what he can to ensure that Donald Trump gets defeated. And so I want to give you the reaction from CNN specifically following Bernie Sanders' address to his supporters announcing that he is dropping out of the race.
What struck me the most there is Senator Sanders, in saying goodbye, did acknowledge that Joe Biden had an insurmountable lead, but he didn't say anything nice about Joe Biden. He did not say he'd spoken to him. He did not say he would work with him. He said it was imperative to beat President Trump, but there was no big embrace of Joe Biden. He said nicer things about Joe Biden back during some of the Democratic debates than he said in saying goodbye.
It was really noteworthy that was not part of his message at all. In fact, it's funny you say that. As he was speaking, I was texting with people in and around Joe Biden asking if he had gotten a phone call because it was so glaringly absent from Bernie Sanders' speech.
Wow, Dana Bash is really like on a losing streak lately with her commentary. Now, what did Bernie Sanders actually say about Joe Biden in his speech? I don't know. Let's take a look.
Today, I congratulate Joe Biden, a very decent man, who I will work with to move our progressive ideas forward.
He referred to Joe Biden as a very decent man. Understand that Bernie Sanders is addressing his supporters and explaining why he is suspending his campaign. And he was very clear in stating that he's suspending his campaign because he wants to do everything possible to defeat Donald Trump. What do you think that means? That means embracing Joe Biden as a candidate. Do they have problems with like listening comprehension? It seems like they do. I mean, what are they paid millions of dollars for? To like not listen to anything and then share incredibly ignorant commentary? It's amazing to me. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There's a case to be made for some of them. Have you seen a Saliza list? But yeah, there were 4 people there. Combined, what would you say combined yearly salary for those 4? I mean, millions. It's in the many millions. And not only did John King say something that was equal parts dumb and untrue, but none of the other 3 corrected him. Indeed, Dana Bash agreed with him when he very clearly did compliment Joe Biden. Probably will be attacked by some people for complimenting Joe Biden. He's also being attacked for supposedly not doing it. And that's the thing with Bernie Sanders. Like, I know you and I and others have been frustrated sometimes with the way he messages, the way he defends himself. But the thing that he always has to face is he will be attacked for everything he says, everything he doesn't say, and the inverse of both of those things. He's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't, damned in every possible way. Like, how is Bernie Sanders supposed to exist in a media environment where people can be so willfully dishonest about what he's saying, what they're directly responding to him saying and lying about it?
Let me just be clear about something. The way that they're handling this, that conversation on CNN is so counterproductive to what they want, because they are not incentivizing any type of unity whatsoever. On one hand, they believe that the onus is on progressives to unify. And then when progressives take the first step, when Bernie takes a massive step in suspending his campaign and referring to Joe Biden as a very decent man, okay, and talks about how we need to support the candidate who can defeat Donald Trump, like, he should be, I mean, based on what the establishment claims they want, based on what corporate media says they want, they should be celebrating that. But instead, they provide a disincentive by smearing Bernie Sanders and claiming that he didn't say something that he clearly freaking said. Like, why would anyone want to work with these types of people? Because you're right, damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're going to get hated on, you're going to get criticized, you're going to get mocked, you're going to get smeared, regardless of what you do. Yeah. He called Biden a very decent man and said he's suspending his campaign because he understands the importance of defeating Donald Trump. Come on.
Yeah. After running a campaign and engaging in debates and being far less than vicious, even as vicious as people who support him would want him to be against Biden. He ran a very like he honestly does seem to see Joe Biden as a sort of friend, like a close colleague. He's been consistent about that. What he said tonight was pretty much what he's been saying every time he's talked about Joe Biden throughout this campaign. He has never once gotten any credit for that. He will never get any credit for that. We point out how many times that he did 43 events for Hillary Clinton. He's got more time now for Biden. What do you think he's going to do? Depending on the pandemic, is he going to do 50 events? Is he going to do 75, 150? Will he get any credit for the months and months of work that he's going to do to try to get people to vote for someone that isn't going to fight for those votes himself? He will get no credit for that.
I get that there's a pretty significant portion of the Democratic Party that never wants to take responsibility for anything, including the giant, obvious flaws of the candidate that they have propped up. They did it in 2016. They're doing it again now. I just want to make clear that if they want to defeat Donald Trump, they need to take responsibility. They need to tackle Joe Biden's flaws and do something about it immediately. And more importantly, because I'm seeing a lot of this today online, you need progressive votes in order to win. So mocking Bernie Sanders supporters, going after Breonna Joy Gray viciously on a day like today is going to do nothing for your cause. And you can go ahead and whine and cry about how Biden lost because progressives supposedly didn't give you anything and everything you wanted without even trying to cater to their needs or without even trying to appeal for their vote. But you got to take responsibility for your actions, and no one's buying it, right? Like the behavior that I'm seeing today is so ridiculous, and they just refuse to ever acknowledge how much they divide the party, how much they go against their own so-called message of unity.
Yeah.
And then one final example for you is what a bunch of Hillary staffers did recently. So BuzzFeed News reported that less than an hour after Bernie Sanders announced that he would be suspending his campaign, dozens of former Hillary Clinton staffers received a mass email with a link to a Zoom call. So BuzzFeed News writes, "Invitation, bye-bye, Bernard." And then it says, Hillary for America celebration toast. The email to former Hillary Clinton staffers read, "He's finally gone again. Join for a celebratory toast if you can. And yes, you can loop." And then also after, I'm sure this got a little bit of backlash, or maybe someone raised some concerns about putting something like that out there. Later on in the day, the name of the Zoom call had been changed to a more generic Hillary for America end of primary celebration toast with no mention of Sanders.
Still a toast. So she's not in it, so it's sort of weird to have the toast. Yeah, look, I know this isn't directly her, but look, she's done more than enough in the past few months. What a weird, sad life to just spend the rest of your life talking about Bernie Sanders. Like, we rightfully attacked Donald Trump for years later talking about the 2016 election. That is the thing she's going to talk about in media appearances for literally the rest of her life. If Joe Biden loses in November, I'd like to think that he's not going to spend his remaining years talking about Bernie Sanders. But for Hillary Clinton, that is the thing she wants to talk about, and that's it.
Because she felt that she was entitled to becoming president. And again, going back to the statement I was making before, she just refused to ever take responsibility for what she did wrong. Same with the DNC. And they have, unfortunately, already made the same mistakes, and they refuse to correct course. So this is my plea to the Democratic Party. If you want to beat Donald Trump, then show that you want to beat Donald Trump. Show that you take that seriously. Because so far, we haven't seen enough of that or much of that from the Democratic Party. I mean, propping up, in my opinion, the weakest Democratic candidate was mistake number one. But now we have him as the candidate. So what are you guys going to do to correct the course that we're on? Because it's not the type of course that's actually going to help us defeat Donald Trump.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.